The BD&A Mario plushes made for the game Super Mario 64 is an extremely popular set of Mario plushes, and they're basically known by everyone. And today we're going to be looking at every single variant of every single plush in this set, and also a few bonus plushes at the end made by BD&A. So with that said, welcome to a look at the BD&A Mario plush set. Let's start off with the first plush in this set, which is the Wing Cat Mario. Now this Wing Cat Mario plush is actually really good, and it's probably the cheapest Wing Cat Mario plush there is. And overall, this plush is actually really good, especially for the price of it. This plush is in a nice flying pose, and his overall looks really nice compared to any other Mario plush. And the body itself is stuffed with beans, while the head and the arms are stuffed with stuffing. So yeah, it just kind of mixes with these like plushes with bean bags and like other materials. The buttons on the overalls could easily fall off because they're only glued on, and a lot of times you will see Wing Cat Mario plushes just missing the buttons on them. And for the head of the Mario plush is overall really good and really accurate to how it's supposed to look. The eyes and eyebrows are iron-on, so they could get chipped and damaged, which is another bad part about this plush, and same thing with the emblem on the hat. But besides those bad details, the rest of the plush is actually really good, and the wings are a really nice detail on the hat, and they overall look really good because they have embroidery on them as well. And even though this plush is a lot more cheaply made than Ban Presto, the Wing Cat Mario, this Mario plush is still definitely worth getting. Because you could easily find it on eBay or Mercari for very cheap. And there was also a keychain version of this Mario plush that was made, which is the exact same as the normal size, except it's just a smaller version of it. And well, this Wing Cat Mario also came in an extra large variant, which by you can see here is huge compared to the normal plush, and it's overall really cool that they made these big sizes of some of these plushes. And unlike the smaller sizes, the big size Mario is all stuffing instead of beanbag. They also made a talking Mario plush, which isn't a Wing Cat Mario plush, but it came out around the same exact time as the Mario 64 plushes, so I'm counting it with these. And well, this Mario plush is overall pretty good, and it makes talking sounds when you squeeze the hand, but it's pretty rare to find one that still works because most of the voice boxes have been broken over the years. It's also extremely rare to find one of these plushes in the box, but I managed to find one image of it, and also has some cool art on the side of the box. But yeah, all these variations of Mario are overall really good, and I would definitely recommend getting all of them if you could find them. Now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is Luigi. Now, I find it quite strange that they made an N64 Luigi plush, because really, Luigi wasn't in many Nintendo 64 games. But either way, they still made it, and overall looks pretty good. Just like Mario, the body has some like beans in it, while the arms are fully stuffed. And the face's details like the eyes, eyebrows, and emblem on the head are made out of an iron-on material, so those could get damaged. Also, the mustache is made out of a felt material, so that could also get damaged, but I don't see it damaged too often. And yeah, the rest of the plush is actually really good, except the buttons could fall off just like Mario's, but it is a little harder to get these off because they put them on a lot better than Mario's. But yeah, besides those few bad details, this plush is great, and I would definitely recommend getting it. And there's also a keychain version of this plush, which is the exact same as the normal size, except it's just a keychain. There's also this variant with a mouth. And this variant is referred to as Smiling Luigi because he looks a lot happier than the normal Luigi plush, but this version is quite rare and it's very hard to find. But yeah, if you could find any of these variants, I would definitely recommend getting them, especially the Smiling Luigi, because that one's probably the best out of all these. And now let's move on to the next plush in this set, which is Toad. Now the Toad in this set actually looks pretty weird in my opinion. The face on the Toad plush is probably what makes it look so weird, because well, he only has a few details on it, it looks so overall really under-detailed. His eyes are only iron-on stickers, so they could get damaged, and the mouth is only made out of felt, so that could also get damaged. And the rest of the plush is okay looking. The coda seems to be a little small for this plush sometimes, and overall I think it would have looked better if they made the coat a bit bigger. But yeah, what makes this plush look so weird is definitely the face on it, because it looks really weird looking for some reason. And they also made a keychain version of this Toad plush, which has all the same problems as the normal size variant, except that the coat seems to be a little better sized on this version than the normal size. There's also this version of the Toad plush, which has some slight differences, like the mouth having a black outline. Also, for some reason, this variant of this plush has legs on the Toad, which isn't accurate to how Toad is supposed to be. And overall, this variant doesn't really have a reason to exist, because overall it's less accurate than the actual Toad plush that they first made. I would definitely not recommend getting this version. I would definitely recommend getting the normal version instead. And now let's move on to the next plush instead, which by far has the most variants, being Yoshi. Now the normal green variant of the Yoshi plush is overall pretty good. Just like other plushes said, his body is all made out of a beanbag material except for his head. The eyes and the eyebrows are made out of a felt material so they could get damaged, and the pupils on the eyes are iron-on so they could also get damaged. But yeah, besides that, the face is actually really nicely shaped and they did a good job with it. But yeah, the rest of Yoshi's body looks okay. His arms are fully stuffed, but the rest of the body isn't, so he looks pretty weird when you try to stand him up because he can't really stand up that well. But still, they got all the details correct and overall it looks pretty good except for the fact that the body doesn't really look that good because it could get like all floppy looking. And there's also a version with red shoes, which that's literally the only difference about it. They changed the orange shoes to the red shoes, and the red shoe variant is a bit more rare than the orange shoe variant. And there's also a keychain variant of both the red and orange shoe variants, which is the exact same as the normal variants except it's just smaller. And also there was an extra large Yoshi plush made for the orange shoe variant. The red shoe variant never got an extra large version, but overall this plush actually looks really cool looking. And I think it looks a lot better because, well, the body is fully stuffed instead of having beanbags in it. And just like the Mario plush, it has a talking version of it, which is the exact same as the normal size except it's fully stuffed and it talks, except most of the voice boxes have been broken over the years. It's also extremely rare to find the talking version of the plush in the box because most of them have been removed for the box, so yeah, it's really hard to find one in the box and it will cost a lot of money if you do find one. And now on to the color variants of this plush, starting off with the red Yoshi. Now all the rest of the variants of the Yoshi plush are just different colors, with the red Yoshi having blue shoes instead of the normal orange or red shoes. But besides the color of the Yoshi and the color of the shoes on the Yoshi, the rest of the Yoshi plushes are exactly the same as the normal version. And they have all the exact same problems and all the exact same details on them. And they also made a yellow Yoshi in this set which has green shoes instead of the normal orange shoes. They also made this dark blue variant, which is interesting because they didn't actually make a light blue variant. They only ever made a dark blue variant of the Yoshi plush. And they also made a black and white Yoshi plush, except these are actually special Yoshi plushes because they weren't released with the normal set. You see, these were released for the game Yoshi's Story, and these plushes are extremely rare nowadays, and these sell for thousands of dollars. And you could just look up on eBay BD&A white Yoshi plush, and there's one for sale for like $2,000 at the moment, and there's a bunch of people watching it, and there's also been some selling in the past for thousands of dollars. Now the reason why the black and white Yoshi plushes are so rare and cost so much money is because, well, you actually had to mail them something in to get them. Basically, back when these plushes first released, you would have to mail in something and you would have a potential to win a reward being one of these Yoshi plushes. And well, it seems that not a lot of people did that obviously because, well, these plushes have become extremely rare over the years and they're basically impossible to find for cheap. But yeah, besides the black and white Yoshi variants, all the other color variants are easily findable on eBay and you could probably find them for quite cheap on eBay except for the black and white ones. And now let's go on to the next plush in this set, which is Peach. Now this plush is overall pretty detailed and has probably one of the most detailed looks in the whole set. And even though it does look really detailed, a lot of the details could get easily damaged, such as the hair being made out of felt. Because well, not only the hair but also the crown is made out of felt, so those two details could get easily damaged over the years because they're made out of a really bad material. But besides that, the rest of the face is actually pretty good because it was embroidered on instead of being ironed on like other plushes in the set. So besides the hair and the crown, the face should hold up pretty well over the years. But the rest of the plush's body is made out of a pretty good material and overall holds up well over the years and also has some extra embroidery on it. But yeah, overall, besides the hair and the crown, this plush is really detailed and holds up really well over the years, and I would definitely recommend getting it, except it does sell for a lot of money and is quite rare in this set. And unlike other plushes in the set, this plush actually only has one variant of it, being the normal variant, so yeah, there's literally no other variants of this plush besides this one, which is really rare for a BD&A plush to have. And now let's go on to the next plush in the set, which is Wario. Now this was actually one of the first widely produced Wario plushes, which makes this plush pretty unique. Because well, yes, there were some other Wario plushes, but those were pretty obscure, and this was basically the first Wario plush released like internationally outside of Japan. And while I would say BD&A did a pretty good job with it. The logos on the gloves and the emblem and the eyes are all made out of iron-on material, so they could get easily chipped and damaged. The mustache is also made out of felt and is only glued on, so that could fall off and also collect debris and dust because it's made out of felt. And also the mouth is made out of an iron-on material, so that could also get damaged just like the eyes and the emblem on the hat. And also the buttons on this plush could fall off just like Luigi and Mario's. So yeah, even though this was one of the early Wario plushes, it wasn't really made that well because it was made out of a lot of bad materials. And I don't know why they made out of these materials because, well, they made Peach with good materials, but these other plushes were bad materials, so I don't know why they did that. because they embroidered on the face for the Peach plush but didn't do it for these. So I don't know why they only made good embroidery on one plush and made all the other plushes out of bad materials for some reason. But yeah, there's also a keychain variant of the Wario plush, which overall looks pretty weird because the nose on is usually really big for some reason. And it seems like they shrunk the rest of the details on the plush except for the nose, which overall looks pretty funny about this plush, and it has all the same problems such as the eyes being made out of an iron-on material, just like the normal size of this plush. And now let's move on to the next plush instead, which is Bowser. Now this Bowser plush is overall pretty bad in my opinion for a few reasons. For one, the bodies are really bad at holding up because, well, but it was only a beanbag material, so it could get really floppy and get destroyed over the years, as you can see by some of these pictures of the plush. Also, details such as the claws and eyebrows are also made out of a felt material, so they could collect debris and dust really easily and get damaged. Also, the eyes are made out of an iron-on material, so they could get chipped and damaged. And for some reason, this Bowser plush isn't big compared to the rest of the plushes in the set. Because, well, obviously Bowser is supposed to be bigger than plushes like Mario, but this plush isn't. It's actually pretty small for a Bowser plush. It's only like 5 or 6 inches tall, which obviously isn't how it's supposed to be compared to like game accuracy. So yeah, for those reasons, I don't really like this Bowser plush, and overall doesn't really have the best details on it. The only really good thing about it is that the face is shaped pretty nice and is really well stuffed. And also the teeth are also made out of a felt material, so just like the claws, they could collect debris and dust and get damaged. And they also made a keychain variant of this plush, which overall looks pretty weird in my opinion, and probably worse than the normal variant with like the details being damaged easily. And just like other plushes in the set like Yoshi and Mario, they made a talking version of it, which actually is pretty good in my opinion. Because, well, they added cuffs around the arms, which was missing from the original plush, and it overall is a lot bigger than the rest of the plushes, so I don't know why they didn't just make it like this in the first place. Because this plush is a perfect size to compare to the other characters, so yeah, I don't know why they didn't just make this Bowser plush just the normal size of the Bowser plush instead of making like a really small variant of it. But yeah, just like the other talking versions, it's really hard to find one in the box, and most of the time the voice boxes are broken on it. And they also made this extra large version, which is huge. And it has all the same bad details on the plush, and especially on the claws, they could get easily bent and damaged. Because since the felt on this plush is so big, they could easily get bent, because as you can see in this image, some of the claws and teeth are like bent backwards, which is obviously not good about this plush. But yeah, even though some details could get damaged on this huge version really easily, I would still recommend getting it if you could find it, because it just looks really cool looking. And it's also fully stuffed, so the body won't look all weird. But one thing that is weird about this big size variant is that it doesn't have the cuffs around his arms, which makes literally no sense at all if you think about it. Because, well, they made it on the talking version, which obviously shows that they can make them, but they didn't add them to the big size or the normal size variant, which basically makes no sense at all. So technically, in terms of accuracy, the talking version is the best version of this plush in terms of accuracy. But now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is Donkey Kong. Now the Donkey Kong plush in the set looks pretty weird in my opinion. Now this plush is pretty good on the whole body except for the face in my opinion. The face just looks really weird looking, especially where the eyes are. Because some versions of the Donkey Kong plush could have like a straight up looking face or a straight down looking face, and overall it seems to have had really bad quality control with the face on the Donkey Kong plush because they all look a little different. But besides the bad quality control on the face, the rest of the plush is actually pretty good. The only other really bad details are that the eyes are made out of an iron-on material, and same thing with the logo on the tie. But besides that, the rest of the plush is accurate to how Donkey Kong is supposed to look, and overall we're really good. And he's also in the correct pose of how Donkey Kong is supposed to be. And there's also a keychain version of the Donkey Kong, which actually looks better than the normal version in my opinion, because, well, it's in a better pose. And the keychain version also seems to have more details on the hands and the feet. And there's also a talking version of the Donkey Kong plush, which is fully stuffed and has all the correct details on it, and overall looks pretty good. But just like the other talking plushes, the voice boxes are really hard to maintain and they overall break really easily. And it's also extremely rare to find them in the boxes. And there's also this extra large version of Donkey Kong, which overall looks pretty weird, especially on the eyes. Because, well, on the normal variant of the plush, you can't really tell what's behind the eyes, but you can see that there's like a huge gap between his eyes, which overall looks really weird. And this version of the plush actually costs a lot of money, and there's one on eBay right now for like $600. And, well, it's really no surprise that these characters cost so much money nowadays because, well, even when they first sold, as you can see from this catalog here, they sold originally for $100 each. So it makes sense why these plushes sell for like $600 to $700 each now because, well, they already retailed for a ton of money even back then. And also, they obviously didn't sell as well as the normal variants, because where are you going to put like a huge Donkey Kong plush? So yeah, a lot of people didn't have enough space for that, and also enough money to spend $100 on a plush. So yeah, that's why these plushes are so rare nowadays. And now let's move on to the next plush set, which is Diddy Kong. Now, the body has all the correct details on it, and overall looks pretty good, except the head has some problems on it, like the eyes being made out of an iron-on material. And also the inside of the mouth and the tongue are made out of a felt material, so they could get damaged. Also, the star in his shirt that he's wearing is also made out of an iron-on material, just like the eyes, so they could also get chipped and damaged. But besides that, the rest of the plush is actually pretty good, and the tail on Diddy Kong actually holds up pretty well, surprisingly, because, well, it's nicely stuffed. And there's also another version of this Diddy Kong plush that has light blue eyes instead of the normal black eyes, which in my opinion is just a really strange detail to add because, well, it's not how he's actually supposed to look. And there's also a keychain variant of the plush which never came with light blue eyes in any variation of it. Also, interestingly, the keychain version is missing the star on the shirt, which is overall a really weird detail to miss out on. Also, while searching for pictures of this plush, I found this bag Diddy Kong plush. From what I could tell, it's the only plush in the set that actually ever came in a bag, and it's overall really strange that this is the only one that did. And I could also only find one image of it in the bag, so I don't know if this is like a super rare variant or what. But on the bag, it does say not for resale, so I wonder if this is like some like really obscure variant that was not actually supposed to be sold or something like that. But I can't really tell because there's basically no information about where this plush is now, so I can't really tell you much about it. And well, there's actually another extremely rare plush of Diddy Kong that I barely found any images of, which is the Diddy Kong Racing plush. And this was made for the game Diddy Kong Racing, and overall it's a really obscure variant of the Diddy Kong plush that basically no one knows about or even has. And well, it's just a normal Diddy Kong plush with black eyes, except well, it has just a cart, which the two on the front of it seems to be made out of a felt material, so that could obviously get damaged, but the rest of the plush overall looks pretty good and it holds up pretty well from what I could tell. And while I could barely find any images of this plush, and I can't really tell how rare it is because, well, it's obviously extremely rare, but I can't really tell how many people have it or how much times it showed up on for sale. But yeah, if you do want this Diddy Kong Racing plush, it'll be extremely rare and hard to find. It's probably the rarest in the whole set. And now let's move on to the final plush in the set, which is the Mario Sunshine BD&A plush. Now, all the plushes that we looked at before were released in the 1990s for games like Super Mario 64. Except this plush came out a lot later after those, and it came out in the early 2000s after Mario Sunshine was released. And this was the last ever BD&A Mario plush that was ever released. And what this Mario plush is the exact same face as the Wing Cat Mario, except the hat obviously doesn't have wings on it. And the plush uses basically the exact same pattern for the body, except it's not in a flying position, instead in a standing position. And this Mario plush obviously has short sleeves because, well, it's based off of the game Mario Sunshine. But the biggest detail is that it has FLUDD on the back of it, which is obviously a key part about Mario Sunshine plushes. And well, overall FLUDD has all the correct details on it, and he overall looks really good. The only bad part about the plush is that FLUDD's eye is made out of an iron-on material just like Mario's eyes and eyebrows, so yeah, they could easily get chipped and damaged and even fall off in some cases. But yeah, overall this is a really cool plush and I'm glad that they made it even after years of not making any Mario plushes. But yeah, out of all of the BD&A plushes that they made for the Mario series, which is your favorite? Mine's probably the Diddy Kong Racing plush for its uniqueness, but comment down below yours and yeah, have a great day.